Welcome. It's great to have you here, and you can see what I'm holding in my hands. It's the IK eFoam Pro 2. This is finally the first handheld electric foam sprayer from the IK series, and I'm really curious to see how this thing performs. Let's take a quick look at the contents, what's included, all the info, prices, and how this thing sprays. You definitely want to know that, and we're going to take a look at it together now. Let's get started. Have fun. And this thing should look somewhat familiar to you. Sure. This is an IK Foam Pro 2. If we take a look at the head, it's exactly the same, and I firmly believe that IK was just so damn clever and said, hey, we have a foam sprayer without a battery and electric pump that works really well. Why don't we just keep the head as it is and build a new container with an electric drive? Attach it down here with a pump, and that's it. I think that's how it went, and that's the smartest thing they could have done, because they already had a very well-functioning spray head. And this is the eFoam Pro 2. Costs around 104 to 109 euros. I would like to take a look at the price comparison here. So this thing here, for 95, I'll also show the community discount code again, available at Waschguru. As soon as it went online at Waschguru, I ordered it right away, and it was already sold out by the evening, around 6 or 7 p.m., I believe. That means the first wave has already gone through at Waschguru. I don't think they could even sort it into the warehouse here. They sent it directly from the pallet to your home and also to mine. But now let's take a look further. You also have the lever here to press it all by hand. And that's why my strong suspicion is that it's just the same spray head and you just have the new container, and that makes sense. And on the back, you can also find the information. The battery has a lot of milliampere hours of power, which means it really packs a punch. And according to the manufacturer, you can operate it a maximum of 10 times. So you should be able to distribute 10 full spray containers on the car. That should definitely be more than enough. There are 3 nozzles included, but the nozzles aren't at the front. They're inside the system. One green, then the gray one that's currently installed, the medium, and then you also have the orange one, which has a very wet foam. So dry foam or medium and wet. Everything is charged here via the USB-C cable. I've already done that, so it's already out. Just plug it back in. And now you can't start the device like that. You first have to unlock it, get the system up and running. Just press here for 3 seconds, then the light will turn on. And if you press it now, the pump is activated. We're also putting in 1.5 liters of water. That's the maximum that's allowed here. And then we'll just do it like this. 20 ml of foam invasion goes in here. And then we'll just spray it. I'm really curious. And then get it ready for operation and let it pump up. So it really goes super fast. You can also hear this pop from the pressure relief valve. In the meantime, I tightened the nozzle again and double checked everything. There's also a lock here, which means you can basically release it east and here. And so that no one accidentally presses it, you can lock it so the kids can't just start it up here. So, and then unlock it. And now for the very first time together with you, I haven't tested it out yet, the first spray. So we're just waiting for the moment. Really cool. The spray angle is the same as with a normal foam spray, only now the whole thing is powered. And we really have an effective spray that wasn't perfect foam formation yet, but we do have a very, very wide spray pattern. Well, normally, and now I'll take you with me if we hear, we'll just stick with the foam picture for now because it's actually not that bad. Normally, we should be able to spray over it nicely twice. So I will definitely work a bit more on the foam formation, but I just wanted to test it out first with these 2 passes. So that definitely worked well. You have a very opaque image. Here we already had a product on it. So that definitely works. And yes, it also stays with this wide spray pattern. It doesn't collapse in any way. Now let's go to the front again. Let's spray a bit more on the hood and the windshield. So it's clear that we can definitely get around the car with 1.5 liters of water. But I have to be clear that if you have more surface area than with a regular mid-range car like the BMW E, the amount of water will eventually be tight. So if you have a larger vehicle, you can't avoid it, which isn't the end of the world. But in any case, I would like to say clearly that you can get around the car with the 1.5 liter amount. This is about a normal car, but with a small van or maybe a large SUV. Or you want a larger quantity because you can see here that the foam is still a bit watery. But for now, it was all about getting around the car. Then you'll definitely need a second mixture. And that's a point I definitely want to make. So if you have larger vehicles, I would recommend bringing an extra 1.5 liter bottle of water with you. Or if you have access to water at the self-service station, just start a second round. That way, you can comfortably go around the car. The amount of spray is absolutely fine. So to be completely open and honest, folks, for a regular car, it's enough. But for a larger vehicle, you'd need to start with a second container. And greedy sellers won't show you this or tell you about it. But now I'm going to show you exactly what I already criticized about the first foam sprayer, or what I don't really like. Because you have to detach the hose here, that's still manageable. But pulling this out by hand, as you can see here, is impossible for me. It's really stuck in there tight. That means, and that's why I'm showing you this clearly as it is. I'm using a pipe wrench here, and that's the only way I can pull this out. And I've also tried to make it a bit more flexible with, let's say, grease or silicone. But when you push this in, and you'll hear it again in a moment when I switch it back, or we can just switch to a different nozzle right now so we don't have to do this multiple times, you'll notice how tight it is in there. You can already feel that when you push it in. And now I'm going to get close to my microphone. Attention, listen up. Got it? So it's really stuck tight. So pulling it out by hand is completely impossible for me. That's why it's not so easy to handle, especially with the SP box. If you want to change the foam pattern, it's very, very uncomfortable. And unfortunately, that hasn't changed because the head up here hasn't changed either. But once you've found your foam, it usually stays in that position. But I don't need to hide anything here. And other people wouldn't show you this at all. I'm going to show you. I really let it pump up fully on purpose again and again, so you can see it. The foam pattern is a dream. So I think that's the dream combination, 1.5 liters of water. Sonax, Rich Foam, Foam Invasion, just as an example. 25 ml and the green insert. Who says, I want it a bit more watery, even though, look, it's sticking like glue here. They can also go for the gray version. But I think here, this is choice number 1. But here, you just have to test it out. It depends on the water hardness, on your snow foam, and so on. But here too, a nice spray pattern, and we don't have to get as close as 20 centimeters. Like for example, with the card foam sprayer, I can be open and honest with you about this. This is a completely different world here. Of course, and of course, there are pros and cons. And of course, I'll tell you those too. So if you continue to use the original head and have had to deal with the, let's say, handling disadvantages, will that be the case here too? Be the same? That means changing the cartridge inside is really not easy. Maybe it's just my model. But that was already the case, I would say, years ago with the regular foam sprayers, even without this electric aspect. That means I really had to use a small pair of pliers to pull it out and replace it, because you can't get it out with just your bare hands. That's just how it is. Could you write in the comments if it was the same for you, or if you were able to pull it out easily with 2 fingers? That didn't work for me here. But you don't change this cartridge all the time. Still, to be open and honest, they could have definitely solved the issue differently. But it has its own system, and they have now expanded it down here. And so these disadvantages remain. But for those who don't have to change it often, they always have the cartridge in. Is it only controlled through the foam formation? And that's how I would recommend it to you. So you'll end up somewhere here with the green or the gray version, and then you just need to adjust the dosage. 25 ml of foam. I had the Invasion in there, and 1.5 liters of water works perfectly. You can easily try 5 ml more or 5 ml less. The handling here is great. And if you want, you can also pump it up by hand here on top. And that also shows again that they simply reused the head, which is totally fine. So, if there's a power outage or a zombie apocalypse and you can't charge this, you can still spray your vehicle at the self-service box here with the regular hand version. That works too. But here it's important to say clearly that 1.5 liters of water is really the limit. So, if only 1 liter could fit in here, then it would be tight. You can also go a bit higher. I think you can also fill in 1.7 here. But still, it gets tight with really large vehicles. So minibus, Audi Q7, huge SUVs. That makes it a bit more difficult. You'll definitely need to make a second mixture. They could have just made the container 500 milliliters bigger. Well, maybe we can ask IK a bit and plead with them to make a larger version for the future. They're testing it out too. But there are definitely pros and cons. You decide how significant this is, how crucial it is for you. Because in terms of the spray pattern, the spray angle is completely number 1. So absolutely top spray pattern. You can also change it wonderfully with the nozzle insert, and of course through the concentration. Works great, easy to do. I got it out right away. So it can't be that hard. And also in terms of pressure, it keeps the pressure completely constant. Nothing breaks. You can even tell that the pressure limit drops a bit at the beginning. And then, as soon as the pump goes back in, there's another one like that. 10 to 20% more performance when spraying. So the pump is definitely beneficial. And it also delivers what you promise here. Overall, I can't give you a long-term conclusion yet, of course. But I will definitely test this thing thoroughly and also use it in the upcoming videos. And you can write in the comments if you've already worked with this tool, because that sold out super fast. But I believe Waschguru will quickly restock the inventory. Depending on how fast they can also deliver. And that's why, thank you for watching, everyone. If you have any questions about the device, feel free to drop them in the comments. If there's anything else you want me to try out, just let me know. Otherwise, I think you're now very quickly and informatively informed in a compact way. Until next time. Hey, everyone.